You must think we're awful. You're a professor. You know so much. You're a great man. No, I don't think you're awful. She began to laugh, a little wildly. And you, I respect you. He spoke calmly. You are brave. You left that crowd of girls that day at the dance. And since then, you've done it again and again. It's brave what you've done. Trying to break away from family, friends, the old customs, the old ways. Trying to find your own path in life. Even coming here like this, I realize that, and I like you. Well, I like you too, she said, too quickly. There was a silence between them. You know, it's not going to be easy. With my father dead, this will be the most terrible news for my mother. It will kill her. It will. Tears were running down her face. Now. He went up to her, put her wet face on his shirt. We'll have to do the best we can, won't we?
Thank you for watching this video. Please like, share and subscribe to the channel to see the latest videos. Thank you.